Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Perkenalkan, kami dari kelompok 9 linguistik. Hari ini kami akan melakukan wawancara mengenai social linguistic dengan mengambil topik atau subjek dialek dan juga code switching. Hari ini kami sedang mewawancarai atau menemukan narasumber bernama siapa?
Maulidia Habibah Januddin.
Oke, Maulidia Habibah Januddin. Oke, kami akan melakukan beberapa pertanyaan, nggak apa-apa?
It's okay.
Oke, silakan.
Sebelumnya guys, Maulidia Habibah ini itu dari Nusa Tenggara Timur. Jadi dialek dia itu bakal beda sama dialek-dialek orang Makassar biasanya.
Iya, betul. Oke. Untuk pertanyaan pertama, silakan.
Ini kira-kira dapat dialeknya dari mana?
Dari lingkungan. Saya kan tinggalnya di Kabupaten Lembata, Provinsi Nusa Tenggara Timur. Jadi gitu aja sih.
Oh, berarti dari lingkungan
Iya,
ya?
dari lingkungan, dari kecil kan ngomongnya
Dari bahasa Lembata.
Iya,
gitu.
bahasa
Oh,
Lembata.
iya.
Bukan
Oke.
bahasa Lembata sih, bahasa Lembata tuh Lembata tuh banyak kan banyak ada kecamatan, ada 9 kecamatan, itu beda-beda bahasanya. Jadi
Berarti bahasanya ngambil dari daerah tempat tinggal.
iya. Kayak mirip apa ya? Kayak kami kan banyak bahasa. Saya sendiri dari daerah Kedang. So bahasa kami tuh banyak daerah gitu
Berarti
kan.
beda daerah, beda bahasa
Beda-beda
dipakai.
bahasa, tapi nanti semuanya tuh berkumpul di satu kota gitu, jadi pakai bahasa Indonesia, sapa gitu. Kayak Makassar gini.
Oke.
Nah,
Oke, untuk pertanyaan kedua, apa dialek yang masih kepake sampai sekarang?
Dialeknya tuh masih kepake sampai sekarang nggak?
masih of course.
Masih ke bawah.
Masih. Kayak kayak kok gimana begitu.
Tapi udah ada kepengaruh sama bahasa Makassar?
Pasti kepengaruh.
Pasti.
Iya, kayak anda.
Anda?
Biasa kalau saya ngomong biasanya apa sih? Itu apa di?
Iya.
Terus kalau misalnya dialeknya itu udah kepengaruh sama bahasa Makassar, yang bikin dialeknya tuh suka kepleset tuh gimana gitu? Kenapa kayak kalau misalnya lagi ngomong pakai bahasa NTT nih, terus tiba-tiba kayak tiba-tiba nyebut bahasa Makassar, itu menurutmu kenapa bisa suka ada dialek yang kecampur gitu? Padahal ngomongnya sama teman NTT nih, tapi tiba-tiba ngomong bahasa Makassar. Menurutmu kenapa tuh bisa kayak gitu?
Itu mungkin karena saya sekolah sama dominan lagi apa sih namanya? Mayoritas dari Sulawesi kan, pasti terpengaruh juga.
Ya, jadi walaupun ngomongnya sama orang NTT
pasti
pure,
kepleset.
tapi kepleset karena kebiasa ngomong sama yang Makassar gitu.
Sama yang Makassar.
Contohnya kayak mana tuh?
Kayak itu Anda Ji.
Terus kalau
Nastami.
terus kalau
oke.
respon teman-teman NTT kalau misalnya ganti bahasa gitu kaget atau gimana?
NTT yang dari mana? Dari
Misal
sama-sama dari NTT
Iya.
tapi kita sama-sama di sini gitu.
Enggak yang dari NTT, pokoknya teman yang NTT tapi pas
dengar.
dengar dia tiba-tiba dialeknya keselip gitu. Gimana
gitu.
respon mereka?
Pas mereka iso Makassar.
Oh, oke.
Kan itu padahal kan ya karena kita beradaptasi. Toh
Oke, untuk yang terakhir, perbedaan dialekmu sama dialek di Makassar itu apa? Boleh dikasih contoh?
boleh. Ya imbuhan tadi kayak ji, mi, ki, di
Itu Makassar kan?
itu Makassar.
Iya.
Kalau kita tuh ada kalau terkhusus dari Lembata ya, itu udah ada le, ada maka, ada to.
Oh, iya.
Mau saya jelaskan?
Ya, boleh dikasih
Boleh.
contoh.
Jadi kalau to itu untuk menegaskan sesuatu, kayak memastikan sesuatu. Kayak iya toh begitu toh begitu.
Makassar juga.
Sama begitu. Berarti sama ya?
Iya, berarti
Sama ya?
agak similar lah.
Oke.
Nah, menurutmu
Terus
tuh bahasa Makassar sama bahasa NTT Lembata tuh jauh beda atau sebenarnya
Sama.
mirip?
20% mirip lah, 10% mungkin mirip.
Oh, berarti nggak semirip itu?
Enggak semirip itu.
Oh iya.
Iya, paling so itu aja yang kadang-kadang sini orang sini pakai. Ya enggak? Belum pakai juga sa.
Maksud aja.
Berarti
Iya.
dua bahasa ini benar-benar beda.
Iya, beda sih. Lebih dominan beda.
Oke. Baik, terima kasih Maulidia Habibah telah menjadi narasumber kami. sangat sangat
Bermanfaat
bermanfaat sekali
untuk
ya,
bahan analisis
karena
kami.
akhirnya kita bisa tahu perbedaan dari dialek Makassar dan juga dialek dari NTT. Oke,
Iya.
itulah tadi wawancara dari saudari Maulidia. Sekian dan wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Selanjutnya narasumber kedua kami yaitu
Siti Halija, asal daerah Takalar.
pakai dialek apa nih kalau boleh tahu?
Kayak bangsa Makassar Ji. Ini tuh.
Dialek Makassar
Iya,
guys, tapi
iya, Makassar.
yang pure.
Iya.
Jadi di sini kami punya beberapa pertanyaan untuk Halija. Tolong dijawab sesuai dengan yang Halija tahu aja. Silakan yang menjawab pertanyaan pertama.
Itu dapat dialek dari mana?
Kayak lahir sendiri gitu dialeknya. Kayak dari ciri khas daerah dari ciri khas daerah aku sendiri. Jadi lahir sendiri.
Jadi misal mungkin bolehnya mungkin tumbuh di dialek itu dari mana, dari orang
dari
tua kah?
dari keluarga, dari sekitar.
Oh, berarti Halija biasa kayak kalau main sama teman-temannya itu suka terpengaruh atau kebawa bahasanya kalau
Iya.
lagi main sama
Iya.
teman-teman. Oh, oke.
Terus itu Halija kan udah pindah nih dari Takalar ke sini. Udah terhitung lumayan lama lah ya. Nah, kira-kira dialeknya itu masih kepake sampai sekarang atau udah ada campuran dialek Makassar di sini?
Kalau dibilang masih kepake sampai sekarang, tapi bisa juga dibilang ada campurannya Makassar sama ciri khas dari Takalar.
Contohnya kayak bagaimana itu? Kalau boleh tadi kasih tahu.
Itu nih kayak tadi waktu kalau pesan makanan tuh tadi temanku ini mau jadi bilang ini mau jadi
Ini
kayak
mau?
iya ini mau jadi kayak dari ciri khas Takalar
Oh,
itu
berarti
ini mau.
kalau bahasa Makassarnya itu kan ini mau.
Iya.
Berarti kalau Takalar ini mau.
Iya.
Oke.
Nah, kalau misalnya dialeknya udah kepengaruh sama Makassar, menurutmu apa yang kira-kira suka bikin tiba-tiba pakai dialek Makassar Indonesia? Kenapa suka menurutmu tiba-tiba suka keganti bahasanya kayak dari harusnya kan kau itu pakai nemo, tapi semenjak di sini tuh kayak pakai inimo gitu. Itu pasti kan tiba-tiba. Menurutmu apa yang paling mempengaruhi tiba-tiba keganti gitu?
Karena sebenarnya sudah lama di sini, jadi mungkin kayak terbawa ini kebiasaan, jadi kayak bisa berbawa mengikuti bahasa di sini.
Oh, berarti Halija tipenya yang cepat beradaptasi ya
Iya.
dengan lingkungan. Jadi bisa sesuaikan bahasa yang orang pakai gunakan di lingkungannya. Oke. Nah, yang terakhir, kira-kira apa perbedaan dialeknya Halija sama Makassar di sini?
Karena kan kelihatannya kayak sama-sama aja nih.
Iya.
tapi
Apa
ada
kira-kira
spesifikasi.
perbedaannya?
Mungkin perbedaannya tidak terlalu banyak sih, tapi yang ada ciri khas dari daerah yang bawa ke sini. Itu dia perbedaannya dari ciri khasnya saja.
Apa itu ciri khasnya kalau boleh dikasih tahu?
Itu yang tadi.
Intonasinya kah?
Iya,
Atau
intonasinya.
pelafalannya kah? Oh, berarti
Intonasi, intonasi sama pelafalannya kayak suara-suaranya kental di sana.
Oh, berarti kalau di Takalar itu dia lebih bagaimana?
Kayak kental di bahasanya.
Lebih apa ya?
Lebih jelas lebih jelas kayak daerah logatnya di sana.
Mungkin karena di sini udah banyak pendatang,
Iya.
jadi di sini Makassarnya udah nggak
Iya,
cuma
iya.
Makassar tapi ada Indonesia.
Ah, oke,
Kalau di
oke.
sana berarti masih benar-benar
Pure ya,
Makassar,
pure Makassar nih. Oke.
Paham.
Baik, itulah tadi wawancara dari saudari Halija. Terima kasih Halija atas kesempatannya untuk menghadiri wawancara kami hari ini. Sekian, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Theory perceives that dialect are rule-governed varieties of a language, characterized by systematic difference in pronunciation, grammar, and vocabulary. So rather than being regarded as an perfect version of a standard language, dialect is just a uniqueness of human language that are affected by socioeconomic, class, geographic location, or cultural background. So humans can have a lot of dialects because they socialize. Both informants stated that they got a natural dialect from their family and from their original region. But after move to Makassar, they also got dialect from Makassar. This is show that dialect usually come from a social interaction. So dialect can be acquired or influenced through intensive communication and socialization. So, for example, someone who got no Makassar dialect can soon be having a Makassar dialect after socializing with Makassar people for a long time. So, dialect is very, very affected by social interaction. And that is pretty much the reason why dialect is including as a sociolinguistic subject. However, the process of dialect usage is further illuminated by psycholinguistics, since to understand a language, to understand a new word, we need to understand and necessitates language comprehension, which is a branch of psycholinguistics. So, psycholinguistics also plays a role in the form of understanding dialect. When individuals engage in communication and socialization, encountering unfamiliar terms or dialectal variation triggers syntactic processing. So when someone talks with someone who has dialect, they usually trying to understand the dialect first in order to speak the dialect too. So psycholinguistics plays a crucial role here because we need language comprehension in order to understand new word and say a new word. And when someone already have a lot of dialect, they might experience something called code switching. However, there are also something called unexpected dialect shift. Is it when someone that usually don't speak a specific dialect oftentimes experience a dialect shift when they say something. For example, is both of our informants. They experience switching dialects even though they didn't want to use the Makassar dialect in daily conversation. However, because of the environment that they live now, their dialect has affected by Makassar dialect. So this phenomenon is not code switching, because code switching requires a perfect step in language production, which is unexpected dialect shift often experience error in the formulation. So when someone wants to talk, they didn't want to use that dialect, but they immediately use it in the end, and that was unexpected. In educational context, this fluidity suggests that university plays a crucial role in dialect evolution. So, for example, both of our informants, they only have one dialect, but after they move to college and university, they now have two dialects. So, dialects is very, very affected by social interaction.
So the first informant, aka Maulidia Habibah Jainuddin, who was from Kedang subdistrict in NTT or Nusa Tenggara Timur, explains that dialects vary across subdistrict, yet in central urban areas, speakers often blend Indonesian with NTT language to facilitate broader communication, since central urban areas oftentimes have filled with many immigrants from other cities. As a result, the use of dialect can cause confusion for the immigrants. Therefore, the use of the national language is necessary in the city center area. The informant have moved to Makassar city for 6 months and have been starting to experience code switching because of the dialect blending. Despite this blending, she retains elements of her native NTT dialect, such as greetings like sa and phrases like kopi mana or where are you going, though it has been influenced by Makassar dialect through the adoption of affixes such as apa di or what is it, and ndak ji or no it's not. She attributes this shift to her new environment in Makassar, where her classmates predominantly speak Makassar dialect. Consequently, when communicating with her friends from NTT, she can no longer use pure NTT and inadvertently incorporates Makassar elements, prompting teasing remarks like "ih, sok Makassar" or "you're acting like Makassar person." The informant notes 20% similarity between Makassar and NTT dialect, primarily in affixes such as toh, a particle used in both regions to confirm statements, suggesting that shared grammatical structures can ease mutual understanding despite region variations.
The second informant is from Takalar and use a pure Makassar dialect, which is different from the Makassar dialect spoken in Makassar City. Her dialect is considered a more traditional version of the Makassar language, while the city version has already mixed with a lot of Indonesian. This difference can make people from outside the area confused when they first heard it. She learned her dialect naturally from her parents and the people around her in Takalar, even though her dialect has been slightly influenced by how people speak in Makassar City. Because she now studies there, she still mostly uses her original Takalar dialect. The difference between the two are not very big, usually only in pronunciation or certain letter signs, but are still part of the Makassar language. The Takalar dialect, however, still keeps some unique feature, like older vocabulary or special intonation that reflect cultural heritage. They show that even though students move to bigger cities and meet people from many places, their traditional dialect can still survive. It also shows how young people try to adapt to their new environment while still holding on to their identity.
In conclusion, the diversity of human language is always evolving, shaped by a multitude of factors present in the world, with social influence standing out as one of the most profound catalysts for change. So one of the main reasons why dialogue and human language always evolve is because they always socialize every single day. It creates a it always creates a new word every single day. Social aspect drives significant transformation and development in dialects as each individual dialect varies across regions. So since a lot of people have a unique dialect and they kind of like moving to from one region to one region, dialects always evolve every day. As each individual dialect varies across region and can only be learned through intensive communication, fostering a rich tapestry of language variation. Since humans engage in daily communication, dialect proliferate in diversity, reflecting the adaptive wonders of human brain in acclimating any environment. So one of the reasons why dialects is always evolving is because human brain was created to make the human fit into their environment. So, consequently, dialect diversity should not serve as a basis for mutual disparagement among people. Instead, we have to use dialects to offer opportunities to explore varied ways humans define concepts and forge new words daily. So we have to be grateful that we can express a lot of dialect every single day.
Language developed through many connected areas of linguistics, such as sociolinguistic and psycholinguistic, and understanding this connection help us see how unique human communication is. These links show that dialect do not only reflect social group, but also change because of how the brain works. Our brain can quietly adjust to new communication situations. For example, in multicultural places like universities, students often make different dialects to get along with others, showing that language is an important tool for including people rather than separating them.
Furthermore, this evolution underscores the role of dialects in cultural preservation as they encapsulate historical narratives and regional identities, enriching global linguistic heritage. Psychologically, the ability to navigate multiple dialects enhances cognitive flexibility, potentially improving problem-solving skills and empathy in diverse interactions. However, amid globalization, there is a risk of dialect erosion, prompting scholarly efforts to document and revitalize endangered variants through educational initiatives. Ultimately, embarrassing dialectal diversity fosters a deeper understanding of human ingenuity in communication, prompting harmony and innovation in linguistic practice.